last time I did a video titled Mental Health, volunteering in Ukraine, that was in July. I had a third of the Instagram followers. I had about a tenth of the YouTube followers. And mentally I might have been in a better state than I am now. See, I'm not complaining. I am grateful. I'm eternally grateful. I have support all over the world through PayPal donations, through people, not as often as used to, that on Instagram would share my stories, promote my account, to get the word out there. Some people thought I was worthy, and that enabled me to do things, to be greater than the sum of my own ability. So when I talk about my mental health, and I hope there's certain people watching this, because it's not about the Jake Bros with 400,000 followers, the Operator Starskis, the Johnny FDs, the Max from Flashback, even the people who back me with names. What I'm talking about right now is people on Instagram who backed me from almost day one. See, my biggest mental health struggle in this war is not those things that I put on these YouTube videos, which I love YouTube now, and people say, I couldn't imagine. That's not my struggle at all. I grew up in an abusive alcoholic family with, I'm not scared to get hit. Didn't do that to shock you, by the way, but you know, I'm very comfortable in the pocket. What really hurts me, what I really struggle with, is social media. I deleted social media some years beforehand. But when I talk about my mental health, have I changed? That's not a question for new people. That's a question for Marcus from Germany, from Seth from Netherlands, from Morgan, Caitlin in USA, Nicole from Ohio. That's people who supported me on Instagram from day one. I'll tell you a little secret, because I'm not a good looking guy. I ain't got no tits. I became very successful on Ukraine. People even say I've become an influencer. And an influencer to me is this really hot girl with a lot of makeup and duck lips who does Lululemon spandex pants. She's got an amazing ass already, but she wants you to buy them to make your ass amazing. That's an influencer. But don't forget to hit like and subscribe, okay? And comment in the comment section. Tell me about your mental health. That's genuine, by the way. I would like to know, because I'm going to ask you a question for those who care to watch what I have to say. Marcus, Seth, Morgan, Caitlin, all these people, there's people I'm not naming right now, they shared all my stuff in Instagram stories. They donated money. We used to write back and forth. They don't write anymore. They still support me financially, but they don't write me. And have I changed? I know I've changed, and I've been noticing in the past month at least 30 days. I want things to the point. I get really upset when I get messages from strangers and they write their life story, and I have to sift through that before I've had my first coffee in the morning, because I have to read everything, because this is Ukraine. And what are they asking me for? What can I do for them? And I need to find out quickly so I can say yes or no. But in person, I was very rude to a man lately. Yesterday, I was very rude and he didn't deserve it. And his name is Orest, and he's a wonderful, beautiful person. He's Ukrainian, he's a digital nomad, he's a friend of my friend Johnny, and his main efforts in Ukraine are about an orphanage in Lviv. If you want to support an orphanage in Lviv, type in Orest Lviv. He said to me yesterday at breakfast, and we had a lovely time until I had a root in my mouth. He said, I need to take a break. There's going to be a point where I'm going to have to step away from this for my own mental health and well-being. That's very vulnerable for him to admit that. And he said to me, Brandon, when are you going to step away from this for your sake? I was shocked. I was stunned for 5-10 seconds. Or said, Orest, for you to even conceive that or ask that to me, do you have any concept of what we are doing? Me saying that to a Ukrainian. Think about that. How arrogant was I? And I immediately went into a tirade about a woman, a 50-year-old woman that's a school teacher, that I took out of Makiivka, and she was tortured by Chechens with electricity, and she showed us her back. She showed me and Nika her back, and I told him about that. Now, I don't think he's ever seen that before, but for me to say that he wouldn't understand as a Ukrainian, how many friends has he lost in this war? How many neighbors, how many family members, right from him to people on the front line who see people die every day, to the people that ran and fled day one to Poland and now off as far as Canada. Even to the woman who lives in Miami and posts about how she's so tired of the war. Yeah, okay, everybody's suffering is real. But the reality is, I never felt so guilty in my life and so remorseful for what I said to him, and I cut him down. And I sent him a text message later on apologizing, realizing the power of my words. He hasn't responded. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry to a lot of people that I've been rude to, that I've been quick to. I want to tell you a little story if you want to listen to it. So I've got a traumatic brain injury, so they say. And I am quicker, and I don't have the patience. And I want to tell you about my friend Philip, and he is my friend. And if you're watching this video this far, you know who Philip is because you're invested in my story. Philip, everyone told him to take a break. Philip chose two foreign volunteers who want to help for two reasons. I'm the longest lasting ever to work with Philip, by far. Philip is crass, Philip is fast, Philip is very inconsiderate and solely focused on the goal. Many people feel not appreciated. And many people, foreigners with a vehicle, want to go help. But then they see it for a day and they don't want to die. I don't want to die either, but everybody wants to do cool shit, but nobody wants to die. So at the end of the day, you really have to question if you want to do this sort of shit. Philip left for Poland. He went to do a job. He was requested by an NGO to help. And not long out of Donbass, I won't go into it too far, but he had a little bit of a breakdown. And me and Philip didn't part on good terms 2 weeks prior to that. But we've been in contact. And he's been dealing with a lot of stuff internally. And nobody can ever judge Philip. Philip's probably responsible for no less than 3,000 people that are not under Russian occupation now, that might have died or might have been raped. I was with Philip at the spearhead when I met him for at least 1,500 of those. I've spent a month in hospital. Victor spent time in hospital. Vehicles have been blowing up. Philip's the only one that seems to come out unscathed. But he's a broken down man. Yeah, Philip's my friend. And we keep in contact probably more than he does with anyone else. And if and when he decides to come back, he will have my support to the fullest. But he's very rude and to the point. That's the thing about Ukrainian volunteers. Volunteer, it's a word, but it's not the same in Ukrainian and Russian as it is volunteer. No, they don't work for organizations. They don't have meetings about meetings and talk about superfluous shit. They genuinely work frontline volunteers with the army, with civilian organizations. They're not organized. Very rarely do they work in groups. They work as individuals. Some love each other, some hate each other, but they will all help each other. And more and more I'm seeing volunteers burn out. I was just in Lviv, driving back to Kiev now. I met Orest. He shared about that burnout, and I chewed him out. He didn't deserve that. I later went and met the woman, Yulia from Heal Fund. They help Enrico, international aid group. She is tired, really, really tired. And we just went pharmaceutical shopping at her warehouse and did catheters because I need them. Well, I know who needs them. Like, you wouldn't believe the things she gave us. She's tired and to the point. That's the way Ukrainians are, and that's the way I need it now. We went to visit Taras. I met him in June in Lviv. Their organization, Lviv Volunteers, they were cosplayers, got together. You know, they were cosplayers together, they're friends, and they were doing everything. Some of those people are gone now. They're burnt out. They're not getting the funding from the West anymore. So what they're doing, the volunteers in the rear, they're specializing. Instead of trying to do everything to us, he gets IFAKs, individual first aid kits. That's all he does. And he has a friend I met, lovely guy, all he gets is tourniquets. 200 tourniquets, 300 tourniquets a month, whatever he can get. He's got a source in America, he gets them cheap, reliable, and fast. And they're having to do this now because they need to do it for their own mental health, for their own sustainability. Enrico, who brings the stuff to us every month. Enrico's been here since the war, and he's the only one I trust implicitly. Some people don't want to give me cash. No problem, plenty of people are willing to. Some people are bringing in radios to Enrico now. I say, like, €400 radios. If you're willing to buy what we actually want, not what you think we should have, what we want, you know, they're bringing that to him. What's he like? What's his fiance Anna like? You know, because their life is very much Ukraine to prepare to come here every month. So it's not just me. Sure, I see a lot more dead bodies and things go boom, and I never wanted to be an influencer. I know I'm not Joe Rogan or nothing, and I say fuck too much. But it's really hard. It's really hard sometimes, and I'm not so inconsiderate that I don't think, what's it like for you? For the Marcuses, for the Seths who've been in this war since longer than me, in the old war, supporting Ukraine. What's it like for people that don't change the channel? Two things fucked Ukraine in the news cycle. Johnny Depp and his divorce, shame on you world, and the Texas school shooting. I totally respect that. But we never recovered in the news cycle after that. There's people that tell me, like, that are upset in America, like they send me messages. People say, oh, that Ukraine war, is that still going on over there? It takes a higher degree of empathy to continue to support this cause for somewhere you've never been, for people you've never met. What's it like for you? How tired are you? How resolved are you to keep staying with us? And I hope you will. So maybe I do need to take a break, like how Philip's taking a break. And maybe I'll do that in the new year. But one thing some of you don't know, if you haven't watched some of my older videos, I got clean off drugs and alcohol at 25 years old. I ruined my army career, I ruined my first business, I ruined my first fiance, all the drugs and alcohol. And through the 12 steps of recovery, and I've lived the 12 steps. In January 1st, I'll have 11 years clean. Only through experience do I know how long my candle is. And I've got about a third of it left, if I'm completely honest, if you believe me. Our work is too important. It has to continue. I am not a humanitarian. So anyone who watches this, people message me all the time wanting to send me these flashlight things. I'm going to send you to who you need to go to. I am part of UDA, Ukraine Volunteer Army. I am Hospitaliere Medicine Battalion. I am a combatant in a medical battalion. I went rogue in the summer, and I went and did some things, some cool things. A lot of it with Dimitri and Philip. My social media grew, and I got blown up in a minefield. And my battalion commander stuck up for me, and I was treated medically as any soldier would be. And I reported back in Kiev, not sure how it was going to go, but I reported for duty. And she asked me, what do I want to do? And I told her I wanted to continue doing what I was doing before, with full authority. She's backed me. A lot of people want to come to Ukraine and they want to help, but they don't want to die. I don't want to die, but I'm with the Ukrainians, for better or worse. That earned me a lot of privileges. But I also got those privileges because of you guys, who for some reason choose to back me. And it enables us to do these things. The generators, the tires, the medical supplies, which I don't pay a penny for, by the way. And some people give them freely, some of them don't want to give them. Some of them want to know exactly where they're going. I don't know where a tracheostomy set's got to go until someone asks for it. But I've got 2 of them right now. And I try to provide the best accountability I can through Instagram posts. I don't know what tourniquet came from what organization, but I think you get the picture. Yeah, it's been really hard. Just on a personal note, we're coming back from Lviv. I left Nika. Nika joined another rotation. She has an opportunity to work under a great nurse on hospital rotation in Bakhmut, Soledar direction. And this nurse is ex-Swedish Army, goes by the name of Oshan Soldat. He's anonymous. You can see him on Twitter, on Instagram. We came to Ukraine together, and we're 2 of the foreigners that are still left in battalion. And we've taken very different paths. But I'm very happy that Nika gets to work with them. I miss her, and judging by the amount that she messages me when she has Starlink, where she is now, I think she misses me too. And right behind me now I have Koala. She's my new partner. 4 hospitalers have asked to work with me to lead traditional rotations, and I need 1 for now. And she's my teammate. I'm driving a Land Cruiser. We went to Lviv to pick up a vehicle that was specifically donated to us. Lugo in Sweden brought 6 vehicles. They've been bringing vehicles to the army, to the Georgian Legion, to me in hospitalers this week. They've been doing this for a long time in the war. Somebody in Sweden that's a volunteer here on the ground said that I should get one. So that's really nice. I didn't even believe it when they offered me, because I've had so many messages that were a waste of time, and I'm not being negative. I didn't believe it. Oh yeah, you want to give me a Land Cruiser? Yeah, right, mate. That volunteer had to call me back in a week. He said, Brandon, they're coming in 2 weeks. You need to tell them you want the vehicle and get... I didn't even believe it. I'm really privileged. I've had a lot of people support me. It's been absolutely phenomenal. Just because we document it on social media. I'm going to tell you a sick little story before I finish this. I get a lot of jobs from the police in Le Mans district, and the chief of police knows who we are, and he really likes the fact that hospitalers, a military unit, are doing evacuations, because we actually have paramedics and we can better cooperate and coordinate with the army. I'm not saying that everyone else doesn't do a great job, but I handed him a generator, a 2.4 kilowatt petrol generator, not one of the diesel ones, because their generator's dying and we need to use their Starlink. They just want it for Starlink and lights. They've got wood stoves. And I said, can we have more jobs? And I said, it's absolutely vital. And he said, well, what do you need? He says, well, I don't know if you know how you got this generator, but basically I have my camera in here. I'm not filming you, him. We got to drive in and rescue civilians, and hopefully we get shot at during the day, and then I post videos on YouTube and people give me money, and I use that money to buy things like your generator. He speaks English and his eyes went, And he said to Nika, can you please say that in Russian? I think I understood. And she said, no, that's exactly what we do. It's a bit fucked up, but it's working, and it's working really, really well. I especially like doing YouTube now because I find people are actually interested in the context. So whereas I was in Soledar in the summer, I'm not so concerned about the artillery shells anymore. People here want to understand, and they're not just like TikTok yo-yos who want to see boom. We never got any money from TikTok anyway, Chinese crap. But yeah, you guys made my platform. It's because you guys enabled me that a battalion commander trusts me to do what we think is best, and we have the ability to do it. We're not the Red Cross, we're not World Central Kitchen, we're not Joe Biden, but we're doing pretty good, little by little, every day. So yeah, I'm at about a third of my candle now, and it's not from the war, but it's trying to do both. But I'm going to keep doing both as long as I can, as good as I can. And when I can't do it, then I'll take a break, just like Philip's taking a break now.